Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box of the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Thursday, the 24th of October. These are the charts of the day. And tonight we're going to feature the swing trades along with a couple other things. But for the most part, I want to review them since I missed doing that last night. Starting off with AVYA. After exploding and getting up to resistance, I thought AVYA would be a buy and a pullback. Well, so far it has pulled back and it's taken a couple, 3 weeks. The good part is that the gap here at around 11 3/4 was tested here, and so far it's holding. Anything underneath that, I would be inclined to cover my position or at least exit. But for now, it looks like any kind of volume that on this one that suddenly surges above 12.5 could trigger a move back to 14 3/4 and 16.5 at the very least. Bed Bath & Beyond is steadily running up after the pop and pullback. We gave you a swing. Looks like it held a gap there at about 11 3/4 and has moved up to 14.32, up another couple percent today. Not a lot, but it's moving up steadily. There is some resistance just above here, but my targets are 16 and 18 going forward. BW now in a 4-day flag after popping its pullback channel. You can see any movement up here is going to have to contend with resistance near 5.5. We get through that. 6 3/4 and 8 1/4 are targets. CYH. After it popped up and pulled back and flag, we gave you a buy on it. It's then subsequently moved from 3.5 to 4.5. A little bit of a pullback today, but I'm still looking for a run to about 5 1/4 half range before it gets to 6 3/4. ENDP popped and pulled back in a nice 4-day flag. It's still looking good, but today was down about 8%, so I'm not thrilled with it. I want to see if it can start to get some movement above 5 1/4. If so, 6 3/4 and 8 3/4 are potential targets. ETON looks like it possibly is a failed trade. After it exploded and broke out, it did not follow through, immediately backed off. At this point, anything under 560 probably needs to be exited. I don't like the way it's looking. After one day wonder, no follow through. ICHR, not a swing, but I wanted to point out today that this broke through a key multiple top resistance and popped 270 or 10.3% on 1.2 million, which is the biggest volume we've seen in this stock on an up day, especially since way back here in August of last year. So we could see some follow through on this one that takes it up to about 30.5 and then look for 34. NTNX is a swing that I think is ready to roll. Inverse head and shoulders or cup and handle, whatever you want. This stock has moved up steadily now for 2 weeks from a low of in the 23.5 range to 28.5. But more importantly, it's into the gap and may fill that quickly near 31 and then 34.5. NVMI popped out, and this is one that is not a swing as well, but multiple tops were taken out today. I wanted to point that out. With an increase in volume, not huge, it's a thinly traded stock. I think the intermediate channel for me shows a top near 41. Newell still moving up and moving steadily in a rising channel. The pullback in the last couple of days is minor. I'd like to see it get it back over 20 and then move to 22 and 25. Those are my targets going forward. Pinduoduo, what a beautiful wedge breakaway move, and then today exploded for 446, got up to 40, closed within pennies of that, up 12.5% on 1.75 million, and that's 17.5 million, which is the biggest volume in an up day in a couple months. But more importantly, it looks to me like the follow through gets you to 44 and 49. PRQR swing got up to resistance and backed off for a couple of days on lower volume. But it's going to need to get through 8 1/4. We do that with volume. We're looking at 9.5 and 12 potentially. QTNT popped to resistance and backed off. I'd like to see it hold, kind of has to hold 785.8 range. But if it digests enough in here and holds on low volume like it's doing, I'm looking for a run back up to 9 1/4 and eventually 11. REGI got to resistance several times and then backed off for a couple of days. But look, it's coming up again today. The double top here has to be contended with at 16.5. That also looks like the neckline of a head and shoulders or cup and handle as well. This looks like a bottoming pattern with the moving averages crossing over. Any move above 1660 or so, I'd be looking then for a run to about 19 and 21. Arcadia. Arcadia popped out of the falling channel and then pulled back to flag on low volume. I like the look of this. I think that if it holds the 468.70 range and then comes on and takes out 6, we're in business. For a run to 7 1/4 and eventually 10.5. Seattle Genetics has been behaving wonderfully. After it popped out and pulled back, we put a buy on it. It's moved from about 80, 81 range to over 100, reaching 3 days ago, 102.84. So the swing targets have been met. And I needed to consolidate for a bit, but I like that way it's acting, and I'm looking for 112. And finally, ZXI was a very big disappointment with a huge surge on volume here. It looked like this one was on its way to much higher levels. Instead, it came down, bounced feebly, and then rolled over. I am not happy with the way this is acting. This stock is right on its trend line. Any further damage below 9, or you can stop half under 9, half under 8.5, and be done with it. If it does recover, it needs to get some big volume, take out 11.5 and then 13. Folks, that's it for the charts of the day, and a quick look at some of the swing trades as well. Good night.